Good day, all, and welcome to another edition of Local Legislator Live at 11. I am your host, Charles Gates, and we are a component of locallegislator.net, where our mission is to be the premier source of local election information in the United States and an advocate for the sustainability of local business nationwide. We've got a special person for you this morning. Again, we're going to continue our Raw interview series with the candidates in the Hampton Roads and Richmond metro area of Virginia. This morning, we've got the pleasure of having Mr. Garry Hubbard with us. He's running for Virginia Beach City Council. Good morning, Mr. Hubbard. How are you?
Fine, Charles. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate this opportunity for the citizens of Virginia Beach to get to know me and my platform a little bit better. And I look forward to the interview and actually giving my information and my platform to the citizens of Virginia Beach.
Well done, sir. And that is our purpose. Now, we're going to start right off with this raw interview. Mr. Hubbard, tell us about you. What is your education and occupation, and why are you running for City Council?
Well, I'm a Navy veteran. I completed my Navy career, so to speak, in 1973. And then I grew up in education. I was born in Harlan County, Kentucky. So the three routes of agriculture there was farming and coal mining and moonshining. Back then, that was the way people actually made a living. So I joined the service. My father died when he was 41 years old, working for Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratories. So, and back then it was a time of draft. I was in service from 1967 to 73. And then once I completed that, I met the love of my life in Sandbridge, Virginia. We got married. I raised a family. I've been here since probably 73, a little bit earlier. My brother actually bought a home here, and I'd come in from service and visit him, and I got to love Virginia Beach that way, the more time I spent here. So, and then I went to Old Dominion University, studied law. I didn't attain a degree. And I did the same thing with Tidewater Community College, studying business administration. I did this on the GI Bill. And during my service career, I was attached to weapons division, both conventional and nuclear. I built the weapons. And on that end of it, with engineering, USAFE courses, and the knowledge that the United States Navy gave me. So on that end of it, and then I started my business solely ownership in 1981, and I'm a small business owner in the commercial and residential construction fields. And I've been in business ever since, some good years, some bad years. And with that knowledge, you get a business acumen to learn how to actually understand overhead and profit and what it takes to stay in business with a business plan. So we understand, also the curbs, streets, gutters, storm drainage systems, and what it actually means to attain these and keep the water moving downhill the way it's supposed to be. So on that end of it, Charles, that's just about a little bit of the background that I have.
Okay. Now, what is your full name? How does your full name appear on the ballot?
Well, my full name on the ballot will be Garry, initial B, Hubbard. And the way you spell Garry is two R's, Garry. I was poor growing up, so my mother gave me another extra R as to make sure I had something going for me.
And we are very grateful that you did not take up moonshining, by the way.
No, actually, family did do that. But yes, back then, you actually either grew what you ate or you hunted and got what you ate. There was no grocery stores back then. Especially on top of the mountain.
Oh boy. Now we understand that city council candidates are not required to disclose political party affiliations. Well, my question to you is, do you associate with any party?
No, I do not, Charles. And for the very particular reason why I'm an independent, I did join the Democratic Party, and I also have conservative values. I believe you have to put character over party. You can't just go by a party line and alienate half of the citizens of Virginia Beach. The reason that I am independent and nonpartisan is because I want to represent all of the citizens of Virginia Beach, not just a special few, but every citizen in Virginia Beach, Virginia. The people that do not have a voice, the people that just sit back and let either the government or a neighborhood or anybody just roll right over them and just look like they don't have a chance or an opportunity to stand up and be counted. I want to give those citizens a voice in their local and city government.
Okay. And have you held any previous public offices?
No, I have not held any previous office, and my business is such now that I want to give back to the citizens of Virginia Beach. You know, the city has given me so much. This is where I made my home. This is where my children actually graduated from the Virginia Beach public school system, you know, Ocean Lakes High School and Green Run High School. So I have made my life here, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. We have a beautiful city. We have a pearl with our Chesapeake Bay. So we have a great area where we live in. We just got to make sure that everybody has a level playing field and can participate in our beautiful city.
Beautiful city indeed it is. To our viewers out there, if you like this interview and would like to see more like this, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, connect with us on Twitter and Instagram, and more importantly, leave us a comment and let us know who or what you would like to hear from in the future. We will try to get out that person or that organization representative on the air as quickly as possible. Now, Mr. Hubbard, what has been your community involvement and how has that helped you to prepare for this moment?
Well, you know, Charles, being in business, you have to have community involvement. And I've been in business since 1981, and I've interacted with all the local businesses, all the large general contractors, and each and every homeowner during my career. So you get to know people, and you get to know the people that work with you and for you, and you actually counsel them. And we've run apprenticeship programs where we've taught people how to actually go in business, be in business, and then went on to be entrepreneurs themselves. My community involvement, you know, during the years, you know, you counsel the people that are with you. You make sure you have a safe work site, especially so there's no injuries, and so they can come home to their family and actually enjoy each other and then come back to work in a safe environment. During those years, I've reached out to many of the local charities, funded and supported a lot of the local charities, Hope House, Salvation Army, Union Mission, and veterans, disabled veterans, and the homeless. I don't pass a homeless person on the street without exactly saying hi and how you doing. And maybe, just maybe, a few kind words will make that person's day a little bit better. And I ask them if there's anything that I can do, any phone number, any resources that they could need to maybe change their life a little bit, maybe make it better. Also, I've gave out, you know, gun locks because during a few years back in probably the late 70s, early 80s, there was a situation where a small child found either the father's or the mother's gun and actually pulled the trigger. Nothing actually happened, but that led me to believe, and it was one of my employees that, you know, came to me with it. So I purchased a bunch of gun locks and started handing out gun locks for free and trying to help educate the people that actually work for me and maybe get the word out on that end of it. It was a personal level. And during service, you know, I was a weapons instructor teaching men how to actually qualify with many different weapons. And I've noticed that there's a fascination with weapons and not actually understanding what a weapon is for. So that's just a little bit
That's
on that end of it.
very interesting indeed. Now, if elected, what are your 4 top goals?
Well, the first would have to how to actually truly mitigate flooding instead of just kicking the can down the road. I will submit this to you, Charles. If you're in your home and you're standing there in 2 feet of water inside your home and the city comes to you and said, we had a program that in 3 to 5 years we can address these situations, would that be a benefit to you while you're sitting there in 2 feet of water inside your home and losing your home and all the catastrophic and damage and economic crushing viability that's going to hit you would you say to the city, thank you for your time on doing this? Absolutely not. So we've got to start addressing these problems now. We've got miles of canal ditches. We've got holding ponds silted over. We got inadequate infrastructure. As a construction contractor, I understand the word infrastructure and what it truly means. So the first priority would be mitigating flooding. The second would be a strong fiscal financial responsibility to see what the city can and cannot afford. And I've heard through the grapevine that saying, well, since money's cheap, we can have another bond referendum and borrow more money. Anytime you go to borrow money, you're losing the game. You've got to have return on investment, not just a partial return. You need to have a viable return on investment. People see if you loan out $1 million and you're getting a portion of that $1 million back, but you're only getting a small return on your investment, 25, 50 years later, you might get your $1 million back. Although you're just breaking even, the rate of inflation will show you that you're going down the tubes. That's what being in business is all about, Charles. The acumen to understand money truly works. If you borrow money, it's just like a tool you have. You've got to understand how to borrow money, what it's going to cost you, how long is it going to take you to pay it back, and it is a viable business opportunity to where you can get a return on your investment instead of losing money. It don't take long to lose money, and you will be out of business, whether you're a city, a state, a government, or a nation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Hubbard. And is there anything else you'd like our viewers, your potential constituents, to take away from this interview?
Well, what I'd like the constituents to know from this interview, I may not be the most popular candidate, but I will be the hardest working candidate. I guarantee you I will be the hardest working candidate to represent you, all the citizens of Virginia Beach, and the people that no longer have a voice in our government. We have to have a level playing field. We have to have parity in our schools. If we've got one affluent school on an affluent neighborhood and a less affluent school in a less affluent neighborhood, that's not parity. There should not be any school in Virginia Beach that is different, period. No matter where you live, you should have the same amenities, the same quality of education, no matter where you go. And I work hard to make sure we have parity of that. Also, equality in our diversity. People need to understand diversity is not a weakness, it's a strength. We're a nation of immigrants. We need to understand that our strength lies in our diversity. We need to make sure we have a level playing field for all of our contractors, whether it's women-owned, where it's minority-owned, or where it's disabled veteran-owned. During my career with other contractors, we worked with different minority contractors, and we actually, Norman, a good friend of mine, I digress, he had passed on, God bless his soul. We worked together on bringing in minority contractors, on actually teaching how to put together a bid, whether it's actually estimating a contract, how to work with the government contracts. And Norman brought me in with that. And as my career, I was a professional estimator, putting together buildings and costs and overhead and profit, and what to do on how to actually build something or work with some of the larger different contractors. We were members of the Norfolk Builders and Contractors Exchange for many, many, many years. So on that end of it, we have a track record, or I have a track record, of actually trying to level the playing field for minority contractors, for women-owned contractors, and for disabled veterans contractors. I advocate now for the homeless and for the veterans and the homeless veterans. As a veteran myself, I understand the military here and what it's going to take to make sure our largest employer stays here. We need to make sure we know how to bring in new businesses to our area. Our resilience is just not attractive enough. We need to work on our transportation issues. We need to work on affordable, attainable housing, not just go out and try to get housing. And it's not workforce housing, it's attainable housing for all our citizens. We need to look at the technology fields that we can bring in. We need higher paying jobs, not minimum paying jobs. We need to make sure our city is as attractive as it possibly can. And that's resilient. We need to understand that the changing of our climates and the sea level rise and the global warming, that is going to be the single largest threat to our coastal city that we can understand. We're probably looking at $65 billion worth of infrastructure that could be affected to sea level rise and changing of our climate. So we got to understand how we can work with the federal government, state government, to make sure we're as protected as possible. Nobody is going to be protected 100%. But we do not just stand there and sit on the bench and hope for the best. We need to make sure we work toward the best.
Working for the best. Well, thank you so much, sir. And my last question to you this morning is, how can people find out more about you and your campaign?
Thank you, Charles. My email, and be sure to spell it right, is Garry Hubbard, Garry, Hubbard, Hubbard, 1948 @gmail.com. My cell phone number is 757-472-7994. My Facebook pages are Garry Hubbard and also Garry Hubbard for VB Council. And I believe there's two words here, Charles, that we've got to understand. Without transparency, there can be no trust. You cannot trust somebody, no matter what it is, if it's your federal government, if it's your police department. If you do not have transparency, you cannot have trust in that government or in that entity or in that person. So we have to be transparent. And I can guarantee you there's nothing that I will hide from the citizens of Virginia Beach. If we try to hide something from the citizens of Virginia Beach, you lose trust right then and there. And therein it's where the breakdown. We are a product of our own social interreactions. We actually determine whether we're going to get up in the morning and make the decision to where we're going to try to better our community or whether we're going to have a detriment to our community. And I would hope that the citizens of Virginia Beach can trust me, and I will be transparent. There is absolutely nothing that I will try to hide, and I'll make you a promise on that. And my email is there and my phone number is there, and they can call me anytime. And I have a Facebook page, Garry Hubbard, and then my Garry Hubbard for VB City Council. And my website is still under construction. And with that, Charles, I think that's just about the way you can get in touch.
All right. In other words, you're easy to get in touch with and reach out to. Well, thank you so much, sir. To our viewers out there, we hope you enjoyed this other episode of our Raw interview with the candidate series. Again, connect with us on Facebook, connect with us on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and LinkedIn. I always forget about LinkedIn. And make sure you leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this, how we can improve it, what things we need to take away or what we can add to it. And let us know, and we will do our best to address your concerns. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Hubbard. And to our guests out there and our viewers, remember, we're not global, we're local. You are watching Local Legislator Live at 11. Until next time, take care.
Thank you.